We got My Insanity bringing it back, slaying the giant known as Todd. And the man who just made that happen, spawning in the top left corner of the map, the Red Terran player, Jakshi.
And in the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is Lilbo.
Of course, Lilbo perhaps not the most well-known player from XMG, but still a really, really strong Protoss player. He's cropped up in a lot of the weekly tournaments that we cast here on Base Street TV, and actually had pretty good results. I can't recall him actually winning one straight up in recent days, but I do remember him taking down some pretty nasty players himself. So going up against Jakshi, I wouldn't put him at a disadvantage, but the nice thing for him too is his team's leading at the moment. Granted, it's by 1 point, but his team's ahead. So his loss, if it ends up being the case, is not as big of an impact as it would be if it was, like, say, 2 games from now.
Yeah. It is really big for you to have that comfort in your mind as you go into play. And, you know, it's also a really good opportunity just to have these other players. You know, when you think of XMG, you don't really think about Lilbo, right? You think about Todd, pretty much. But these guys also need experience. So if they're up 1 and the favorite gets knocked out, then this is great for them when it comes to furthering themselves on said team.
Now I'm curious, Jakshi showed a really good game last game. It was really nice, is because he won in the macro game the way he did, especially with like that style, I would say, of like that hidden base later on rather than like planned to go to. It's kind of shown that he's going to be able to react to whatever Lilbo does as long as he plays correctly. And that wasn't a win because he knew what Todd was going to do. There was no like cheeky like, okay Todd, I know your timings and this is what I'm going to hit. But opted to go for the faster reactor this time. This is, if there's 2 more barracks coming down, this will be the exact same way you opened last time, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Gonna go in for a scout, see how much gas is being taken, actually see also if the Zealots is on its way out already. That's also very important. You can, if they get that early Zealot, Stalker, Mothership Core, it can be really dangerous to a Reaper opener, although that's not what Jakshi is doing.
Well,
actually, it
double
is.
Reaper
It's
opener.
double Reaper.
So you're not incorrect.
say-
It's not a Reaper opener, but instead 2 Reapers.
Usually, if it's just a reactor for just Marines, the 15 gas. So I was a little confused, but that is what it is. Double Reaper.
So what kind of makes this a bit worrisome, guys, is if Jakshi invests in more than just 2. 2 Reapers to start, it's actually nothing too crazy. It can do a little bit of damage. It's a bit more of a threat, and they all actually live a lot better to continue back for scouting later on. Especially on a map like Heavy Rain, where you're constantly able to get in the base from multiple locations. The problem is, if Jakshi actually goes up to 4 or 6, like it looks like he's planning to do, this can snowball very quickly. But it has to snowball to be effective is the problem. Otherwise, it's just a huge waste of gas early on.
Well, let's see how much damage the first 2 can do. Of course, they'll be able to take out these Zealots. If the Militia Corps does not help out, and the Militia Corps, unfortunately, is really slow. Can't actually catch up to Reapers.
Whoa, yeah, the Zealot is going to go down.
First
But
blood.
better to lose the Zealot than 4 probes. We'll lose a probe anyways, and the Jakshi Reapers actually skirt on out of there. So the key thing again about snowballing with these units, guys, is you have to keep them alive, which is key. Now he's investing in Marines behind this, and he's getting down these extra barracks, so he can start getting Oracle protection up. But he doesn't really need to worry about Oracles. He didn't see any Stargates in there, and I think the only thing he'd have to worry about is proxy. But this SCV is actually looking all over the map for precisely that. 4 Reapers coming back in, though, these will be able to trade out with the Stalker. The Mothership Core is going to have no answer to it. Of course, if he can force an overcharge with this, that's like the best case scenario.
Maybe be right back.
Alright, it's not going to some dogs to deal with by the sounds of it, but he's got to be careful not to let these die. Again, the Reapers, they do regenerate, guys. They're really durable in that regard, but they're fragile as far as taking an actual fight head-on goes. And Jakshi, I think, realizes this. With 2 Stalkers out, it's going to be hard enough to deal with this, much less if he gets any additional behind this. But 4 Reapers going to try and get into the main. A little bit kind of predicting that, alright, if you left the ramp, chances are you're coming from the left side, so position the Stalkers accordingly so. But unfortunately, the one that's weak is segmented off and on its own. Jakshi can kill this, and he can get that Reaper out alive. In fact, he might even get 2 Stalkers for this. That 1 Reaper gets out with 10 health, but still going for a dive here on the mineral line. Not sure I love that idea. Still just trading out. It's kind of the same concept here with Queens, guys. Oh, loses one of the Reapers, though. That's really unfortunate. Takes a lot of power out of this push. But it's not over, and it's not the end of everything. This is, again, a big investment out of Jakshi early on, so he has to get a little bit for this. I kind of feel like he's paid for himself, though, just getting that Stalker, even getting that 1 probe, and forcing out additional Stalkers right now, but he can still trade this out. if done correctly. Has to be careful though. The time it takes to jump up and down cliffs is horrendous, but trades out a Reaper for another Stalker. Not too bad in this regard, but now he's got that Marine push. He's got Marauders coming behind this. So one of my favorite things to watch, guys, is if he baits out the overcharge and then waits, and then goes for an attack in the natural and sends 2 Reapers to the mineral lines of the main. There's so many times where players like Polt and Joxi and many other great Terrans have actually gotten quote-unquote what I like to call AFK probe kills because no one's paying attention to the main when there's a big attack happening in the natural, and that's kind of what he's trying to execute right now. Unfortunately, with the overcharge being produced, he actually gets the, he gets the Mothership Core. This is going to be huge. Not only is that a big gas investment, ooh, if we can get that Stalker, that'd be really nice, but not only is that a big gas investment, that's going to be a long time before there's enough energy for another overcharge. So he gets the game accomplished in that regard. He forced out the overcharge, but getting the Mothership kill was huge. Now we see both the Twilight Council and the Robo Baby slapped down behind us. So looking to get quicker Colossus out, mixing in with Blink to protect against Vikings, but I mean, Joxi has set himself up really nicely here in the early game for a follow-up attack.
Okay.
Oh,
Got
okay.
everything situated. Thank you.
Did you murder your dogs? Is that what happened? I don't hear them barking anymore. Do I need to call PETA on you?
No, man, this God, that's why I never have a dog. It's my mom was like steam cleaning.
I thought
the
you only had the
floor.
dog for like a week or something.
I did, but we had to take him again because my brother's sick.
Your brother, what a dick.
Yeah, totally. Anyways, so yeah, and like they're freaking out over the steam. They're just flipping
Okay.
out. So just shooting up outside. Anyways,
This is really scary. There's no Colossus out. There's no units
Yeah.
available. There's no overcharge for this, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be incredibly dangerous. And Joxi scans this. A big
just
step
going in.
forward. Goes to the Mothership Core. No overcharge can be available whatsoever. Lilbo caught with his pants down. This is looking really rough. Reaper does go down on the high ground. Stalker gets cleaned out. These probes are just being corralled into death, basically. And a couple Marines who can actually draw the attention of the Stalkers away, but Joxi is killing so many probes. 15 killed so far, and he's not done yet. Stalker going to go down, and the ones warping in are just going to be dead to these Marauders on arrival. Now there's nothing left and no weapons available. One Colossus is on the way, but good game is going to be called. Ladies and gentlemen, Joxi will secure another victory, tying up the series now 3-3 between XMG and Mind Sanity.